Hi, welcome to Hospitality Live with Rupesh. Each week, we feature an industry leader that will share the latest trends and the best strategies to help you grow. Now, welcome your host, Rupesh Patel.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can really hear me. There you go. We are live again, guys. This is episode number 64. Welcome to the show, guys. Comment and let us know where you're watching from, where you're listening from, and if you're in the car. I've heard a lot of people in the car listening to this as they're getting to work, or they're taking a break because they've already been there. They got there at 7 o'clock this morning or earlier than that, and now just trying to tune in and learn something. And guys, I'm excited about this episode. It's the Road to Recovery: How Successful Leaders Use Coaching to Grow Themselves and Others. I'm all about that. I love that we can just learn ourselves and then kind of help what you've learned and transition that to somebody else. Guys, good morning to Daytona Beach. Good morning, Ocean Ridge, Florida. Again, Maryland, London, Houston. Guys, comment, let us know where you're watching from. We are giving away to the most engaged person on this episode a $900 coaching package, which I'm super excited to give away with our featured guest. And our featured guest is Rachel Vandenberg, and she is a hotel owner, a leadership coach. Guys, if you want to be a better leader, if you want to be a better coach, you want to inspire your team, this episode is for you. Get actionable tips to become a stronger leader. Learn how coach mindset can change your career, change your life, make you a better person, and then get that clarity in your life that you always need and that I've kind of discovered these last few years on what's most important to me, guys. All right, so we have people from Virginia, Kentucky, again, Daytona Beach, Missouri, guys, welcome. Virginia, welcome. Minneapolis, welcome. Oh, I love this. Maldives. I want to get over there as soon as possible. I follow some groups on Instagram and they post pictures of their hotel and all the beautiful sites around Maldives. I'm definitely going to be visiting there. Good morning to Alpharetta, Georgia, DC, Fort Lauderdale. Guys, comment. Let us know where you're watching from. ATL in the house. I'm a traveling agent. Welcome to the show. Guys, welcome to the show. And guys, you're going to discover how to get your mindset clear as you become a better coach, better leader this episode. And I got it this week, guys. Nobody needs to comment in the comments. I actually have it this week. And this episode is brought to you by smartguests.com. But if you want, please type in smartguests with an s.com in the comments, somebody, just to help me out and help the audience understand exactly who our sponsor is this week. All right, guys, if you want to improve your guest satisfaction scores, get more positive reviews, which we all need right now. And listen, if you have 10 people staying in your hotel, that's even a better opportunity for all of us to engage with those 10 guests and ask for their feedback, fix their issues called recovery, and then ask for reviews on social media, on websites like TripAdvisor. SmartGuests.com offers over 50 tools to get more reviews, improve your guest satisfaction scores, marketing, all of that. Somebody put in the comments. There you go. Somebody put in the comments, smartguests.com. Over 4,500 hotels now have used this platform to improve their hotel. So thank you so much to smartguests.com. I am thankful for them. And guys, every week I talk about a mindset. And this week, and hold on, let me just make sure who else is watching. This week, we have some people from Clearwater, Michigan. Guys, welcome. Nashville, yes. Good morning, Boston, Pennsylvania, India, Alberta, Canada. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, guys. Everybody, if you are watching, you're going to be entered into winning this $900 package, coaching package. So the person that has the most engagement, most comments, the best comments, is really engaging, is going to win that. I'm going to be reading these comments. All right, so this week's mindset for me is a simple thank you, a simple just you're doing a great job goes far for a lot of us, for all of us, right? When's the last time someone said, listen, Rupesh, I've noticed what you did and it was awesome. You feel good about that. You ever felt that? Like, you ever had that pat on the back after you just busted your butt off? You worked like 7 days a week. You've worked 3 weeks straight, which we all have, right? You know how that feels. And that one time that somebody calls you and says, you know what? I noticed what you did. It feels great. And so this is our opportunity right now as we go into Thanksgiving next week to thank others, because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel appreciated. And we're so busy running around doing all these things to keep ourselves going. We often forget to thank others right? And it's often we forget about it, and then the morale goes down. Other things kind of are like, oh, this guy doesn't trust me anymore. This person doesn't trust me. And it's just a simple thank you or great job. And I think that goes far. That's part of the leadership. When we're talking about leaders, you're talking about becoming an awesome general manager. Guys, comment and let us know how often or what's one thing that you do to keep it going. And how often do you say thank you? Because it's super important to say, you know what, thank you. You've done a great job. And it could, you could do it every day too, which is awesome. So that's my mindset this week. Yes, this is my third cup of coffee now. I did wake up at 4:30 this morning, went to the gym. It's been a few days since I've been to the gym, and got to keep it going. So yes, I do have that energy. I am like this every single day of the week, which sometimes my family's like, go back to sleep. It's 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And listen, this is the way I was born. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for this. I really enjoy this. And all right, so now we get into the segment, and I want to know what's happening in the news in hospitality. Let's bring on Sarah Dandashy.
Hi, I'm Sarah Dandashy from Ask a Concierge. Every week, I'll be sharing the latest hospitality and travel news and updates in a segment we like to call Hospitality Minutes.
All right, Sarah, you got to tell us what's going on in hospitality.
Oh my God, so many great things. Thanks for having me on again. All right, well, I'm ready to dive in if you are. Now, we'll go through the Hospitality Minute today, covering a couple of topics. We are going to talk about, this blew my mind, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. TripAdvisor versus that Thailand hotel, the hotel in Thailand that had a reviewer jailed. Coming back to that. Also, October U.S. travel grew the smallest since April. What Jetblue is doing as far as debuting additional options for their non-air offerings, and then taking a different look at holiday travel because the AHLA came out with some different stats. So let's go ahead and dive into the first topic. Okay, this is so interesting. So TripAdvisor struck back at a Thailand hotel that had a reviewer jailed. I don't know if you guys saw this past week, but actually, if you go to this hotel that's based in Thailand, and you click on it on TripAdvisor, they actually have an advisory at the top, and it says that they actually had a reviewer jailed. Now, basically, this Thailand hotel filed criminal charges, which have now been dropped against a review writer. They basically, and then TripAdvisor had came back at them and penalized them by, in essence, making sure that they won't have certain placement on the TripAdvisor platform for at least 90 days. Now, why this is so crazy is you can look at it in a couple of ways. Obviously, that this reviewer got legal action put against them is insane. But also, if you read into some more details, this reviewer was pretty atrocious. And we have all had those guests at our hotels that you can't do anything to please them. And they get belligerent and all of that. So I'm not saying that he should have been jailed, but my goodness, he was not an ideal guest to begin with. So would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. It is the Sea View Resort and Spa in Thailand. So if you want to take a look at that, it's really interesting. All right, moving on. October U.S. travel grew the smallest since April. Now, what's so interesting about this is in October, 38% of Americans traveled, which is actually the smallest monthly increase since reaching the low point in April. I mean, we all know we're kind of here, and it somewhat makes sense, but curious to see how things will change course kind of once we maybe get past the holidays, obviously with the good news regarding the the vaccine. And we will see how things, I think, change probably in January. So moving on, JetBlue, this is also really interesting. So they are going to be debuting short-term rentals as part of their growing non-air offerings. It wasn't really on my radar that JetBlue is actually doing a lot of these non-air offerings, but they are. And I think it's kind of interesting because it almost is going back to what airlines used to do in the start of OTAs way back in the day. And this will be really interesting to see how we move forward with it. I mean, to give you an idea, some of the things that they do, I mean, they already had their JetBlue vacations. They do travel insurance, car rentals, ride sharing, cruises. And then now they'll be doing these short-term rentals. So again, very interesting that we're kind of like going back a little bit in the world of hotels, airlines. And then our last topic today, holiday travel is down. So I found this to be a little interesting just because it's different than what we were just talking about just a couple weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. So the American Hotel and Lodging Association, which we all know, they did a study and they found that many Americans are now not expected to travel for the holiday season. So before, when we talked, we were finding that there were almost like 75%, 65%, a good majority of people were like, yes, we're going to travel in November for the holidays. Yes, in December. And now it's only showing that about 21% of Americans say that they're likely to travel for Thanksgiving, and 24% will likely travel for Christmas. And just additional stats, only 3 out of 10, so about 32% of respondents have actually even taken an overnight vacation or a leisure trip since March. So all interesting stats. I know that we're kind of coming into the end of the year, but again, be powered by knowledge. That's always what I have to say. But that is it for the Hospitality Minute. Rupesh, what did you think about that TripAdvisor story?
That is crazy. Like I didn't even realize that story. I didn't even notice that story. I didn't notice the banner up top that you were talking about. That is nuts.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. A friend of mine actually showed me, she sent me a link for the hotel and she was like, have you seen this? And I was like, no. And then I was like, why are you looking at this hotel in Thailand? and then I actually ended up looking up the story and I'm like, that's insane. So
it is insane. And there are times when you get this ridiculous review on your TripAdvisor listing, and you're like, what are they talking about?
Totally.
And sometimes you're like, that is not the truth. And we've all been there where you see this review and it's like a 1-star, and it's like long and it's just like false with everything, because you've done everything to make them happy. You've given them money back. You've asked them to come back and stay with you another time. And they were just upset because maybe they had a bad experience traveling to get to your hotel. Maybe they were arguing with their family. Maybe another guest had something to do with it, and it wasn't your hotel. And often we have those. And when we have those, I always say, what, instead of responding right then and there, I take a break.
Yeah.
I coach and I say, listen, take a break. Let's talk about it. Maybe think about it. Talk about it with somebody else. You can get your frustrations out as a leader, as a manager, and then come back to it tomorrow. You don't have to respond to it today, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a lot of things in our life where we're just like, let's think about it before we just like rush into it. And I think I've had to learn that mindset, because it's hard sometimes. You just are really angry at reading this bad review that's affecting your business. And guys, if you're listening, has this ever happened to you where you have a review where it wasn't true about your hotel, and then you feel like they're just getting back at you? And it's hard to deal with,
The art of the pause, though, as you mentioned, it's so important, because it's so easy to like write something or to write like a sassy comment back, but that is not going to do anybody any good. So definitely taking that pause and before responding, and then just doing it in a very calm way.
Sarah, it's always a pleasure having you on. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me online everywhere on social media at Ask a Concierge, which will be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, my YouTube as well, or my website, askaconcierge.tv. So thank you, guys.
Sarah, I'll talk to you next week.
All right, definitely.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll see you next week.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye. Bye. Sarah's awesome. Guys, follow her on Instagram. Follow her here on LinkedIn. And by the way, guys, comment and let me know where you're watching from, because I am reading the comments. We're going to pick, by the end of the show, we're going to pick a winner that's going to win the $900 valued coaching sessions. And it's not just one, it's not just two, it is more than that. And guys, this week, the featured guest today, I'm super excited to have her on, because we've been connected for quite some time here on LinkedIn. And she reached out to me. Listen, if you want something in your life, you have to reach out. I believe in that. And she reached out to me, not to say, I want to be on your show, but hey, what can I do to help you? And I said, oh my God, this is awesome. You're awesome. And I've been thinking about this topic for a while now. Let's have you on the show. And that's easy. That's how easy it was for her to get on the show. And, there's other people that come in a different way, approach it a different way. She did the perfect thing by just saying, hey, I want to help you, instead of let me just be on your show. I've had a bunch of those people too. So your approach is always, how you approach things is always important. And Rachel Vandenberg, and the topic is how successful leaders can use coaching to grow themselves and grow others. Rachel Vandenberg, before I bring her on, Rachel, let me just read her bio real quick. Rachel Vandenberg owns and operates a 39 room hotel, bowling lounge, miniature golf park in Stowe, Vermont. And I've been there with her family, Sun and Ski Inn and Suites, Stowe Bowl and Stowe Golf Park. She also serves on the board of Stowe, Vermont Destination Marketing Organization. Rachel's passionate about marketing and organization development in tourism and hospitality industry, and recently started her own new coaching business, Peak Leadership Coaching. When she's not chasing around 3 kids like myself, she's running her business with her husband and finds her in the woods in bikes or skis. So guys, welcome, Rachel. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
When you reached out to me and said, hey, you didn't say, I want to be on her show. You said, hey, can I help you with coaching, right? And that was pretty cool because most people are like, hey, I want to be on the show. And that's it, and they're thinking more about themselves more than they're thinking about others. And as leaders and as coaches, you're thinking about other people, and that's how it gets started, right? Tell us about your background real quick, and then kind of want to get into how we can become better leaders, better coaches in our own lives. And this is the perfect time where there's a transition period in the industry and you can focus on yourself, right? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I live in Stowe, Vermont, as you said. And, the first thing I wanted to say was thank you, along with your mindset of the week, because over the last several months, I've been following you, and the energy that you are bringing during this time and the positivity is so important for people in the hospitality industry. So thank you so much for that. A little bit about my background. Several years ago, I started really digging deep into organizational development and trying to learn more to apply myself in my business. And I've actually had coaches over the years, and really going back as 15 years ago. And about 5 years ago, we expanded our hotel, tripled in size. And when we opened, it was a really difficult time. I think anybody who's done construction or, really taken that next step with their own business or with a business that they work for, it can be a really trying time. And I was becoming disconnected with the work. I was really buried in budgets and forecasts and, how do we get this new venture off the ground? And one day I found myself, some people this is actually kind of funny, but I was doing inventory for the restaurant, and it was the first time I ever had to do inventory. So I'm like, I've got my clipboard and I'm counting things and measuring things and whatever. And I was so overwhelmed. I put the clipboard down. And at the time I was living on property. I ran home and I jumped in bed and put the covers over my head and went to sleep for a few hours. And that was really a low point for me. And after that, I picked myself back up and I realized that I needed to do something to reconnect to my work. And that's what brought me back to coaching again. And I connected with a coach and started that process of really redesigning my life and getting back to my purpose. And that's kind of where it started.
Yeah. And were you a coach prior to that?
Was I a coach or no? So I've
you've been coached, or were you a coach prior to that? Because I know you're a coach now, it's helping others.
Yeah, so I've been coached, and I slowly over the last few years, I've been learning how to internally coach and use it as an approach with my own employees. Sure. And just recently, starting in April, I'm actually being formally trained as a coach.
Okay, awesome. And so what is coaching? Like, I've heard of coaching and we all kind of know what coaching is, but what does coaching actually mean?
Yeah, so coaching is really about co-creating a relationship with the person that you're coaching. It's very different than mentoring or training, all of which are good things, but coaching is a specific approach. And what you're doing is when you're entering into a coaching relationship with someone, you're really connecting with that person and you're saying to them, listen, you are the expert. You have your own solutions. And I'm here to be your sounding board and to guide you, to provide some tools, to listen to you, and help you move you forward from where you're at to where you want to be.
Mhm.
So, some just specific distinctions, with other things like mentoring or training. With mentoring, you're often sharing your own experiences and using that as a way to teach something to a mentee. With coaching, it's really not about you as the coach at all. It's about the person you're coaching. And you really kind of keep your own stories out of it. Sometimes you can use them, but really only to help the coachee move forward in their own discoveries. And with training, you're really teaching, you're showing people how to do things. And that's with coaching, it's really about that person having their own discoveries and their own personal, learning and development.
So I actually have that. What's the difference between coaching, training, and mentoring? And so you're mentoring, you're saying it's coaching is about them. Mentoring is about sharing your experience with them. And then training is just teaching a person or a group of people an idea or a concept. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably really simplified. I'm not a professional mentor or
Yeah.
a professional trainer, so I don't want to speak for those experts in any way. But that's a very short, simplified way to talk about some of the differences. The other thing is some other distinctions that are relevant. When you're also with consulting, when you're consulting, you're doing things for your client, or you're teaching them, you're telling them things. With coaching, it's really about you are asking them, you're not doing anything for the coachee. The coachee needs to do the work. That's where the real powerful stuff happens.
Right. And so when we're thinking about coaching in hospitality, what most of us that are watching are in the hotel business or in hospitality. Why is it important to our industry for becoming a coach and then coaching others?
So, I think it starts with yourself. To be a good leader in any industry, you really got to go inwards first. And, early on in my hospitality career, I thought, I was looking for the magic formula, right? Like I wanted a set of rules, like this is what you do, step 1 through 10. And I was reading a lot about marketing and operations and all of these things. And, I was thinking, okay, this is going to help me become a good leader in hospitality. And over time, I realized that, it's not really what you do. I mean, ultimately it is, right? That's how we get results. But the first step is how you show up every day. And who are you as a person? Who are you being when you are confronted with some of the most difficult challenges in your hospitality career? And I'll give you an example. Another short anecdote. I had around the time that we opened our expansion, we had a tragedy in our business of one of our employees, and that employee got in an accident, and she, as a result of that accident, her boyfriend passed away, and that was a really, really tough time. I think we all have stories like that, and we don't really talk about them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about like, okay, how are you going to handle that? Like all the consequences that come out of that situation, like the person can't come to work, or mentally they're not totally, they're not present when they're at work. Perhaps their performance is sliding. So, you can think of that in a very like mechanical way. Well, like, okay, these are how I'm going to deal with this, as a leader. But really you have to think about, what person am I when I am going to be standing in front of that employee? What are my values, and how am I going to be there for that employee to get, to help them through this and get them past this situation. But the other distinction I just want to make about that is that it's not our job as coaches to provide any therapy. That's actually unethical, and really we have to stick with our expertise. So it's not about necessarily coaching them through the tragedy or the trauma, but it's about like, how are you going to be there to support them? And, what is the kind of attitude that you're going to bring in your relationship with them?
Would that include empathy in like, for example, that tragedy that happened at your hotel? Would you include empathy as being understanding of how they feel and why they can't come to work, or why they might be not focused on work and maybe the guest, but something else that's happening in their life? Is that something that we can do?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think the second part of your question was about, how we, use it with our employees, right? More so. So, first we talked about the inner work that you do to understand who you are as a leader. But then it's about, okay, how can I use a coach approach in hospitality to improve my employees? And, I think the shortest thing, or the most simplest way to put it, is that when you go into a conversation, like in our one-on-one weekly management meetings or employee meetings, I like to think that I go into that meeting not with a list of things that I want to tell my coach, to tell my employee, but we should go into those conversations with, what am I going to learn from my employee today? And what are they going to bring to this relationship? And when you start going into those conversations in that way, it by default changes the results drastically. And, so that's very conceptual, and a little bit we'll talk about, we can talk more about practically speaking how you do that. But it's really about going into that conversation with your employees with a lot of curiosity, having an open mindset. What ideas, what insights might that employee be able to bring to that conversation? And, it also reminds me that early on, I thought that I had to have all the answers as the leader. But really, like, you don't, and your business isn't actually better off. It's worse off if you think you have all the answers.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of us thought that way. At least I thought that way until I got a little bit of clarity in my life. And I think when you're thinking about coaching and becoming a better leader, it's that clarity within yourself that you talked about early. To understand yourself before you can understand others. And I think there's a lot of comments, and good job on the comments, guys. We're going to be giving away a $900 coaching session with Rachel before the end of the show. So keep commenting and ask your important questions that you do have to Rachel. If we can't answer them now, we will definitely get back to you hopefully by the end of the day or by the end of the week, and we'll answer your questions. But, as we become understanding of ourselves, and then we're trying to help others, especially in the hotel business where people are struggling, everybody's struggling, right? To kind of maintain or kind of keep going. And when we're talking about coaching, and I think we talked about this yesterday, is coaching like a group thing that you do, or is it individual? Because I hear people saying, oh yeah, I hear managers saying, hey, I'm coaching my staff, my entire team, and we have meetings and we have trainings. Is it a one-on-one thing or is it a group thing?
You can do it both ways. In the coaching fields, there are people who do group coaching, and there's also the individual coaching. I think that the way I kind of envision it in my own business is that it's more of a one-on-one experience.
Yeah.
And it's really about adapting, your relationship with each individual, and bringing out the best in that individual to make the whole organization work better.
Yeah. I think in hospitality, especially in hotels, when we're dealing with so many different types of people, guests, our own team, vendors, just everybody across the board, like we all been raised differently. We've had different experiences. We've had different educations. We've had different ways of talking, communicating, all of those things. And I think when you're talking about coaching, and you're saying it's important to have specifically being a one-on-one thing, because we can't all say, oh yeah, talk to, here's a great way of engaging with with your guests or with other associates, right? So is that coaching?
Yeah. So like, to give an example, we talk about a lot in coaching about, people's values, and, everyone has their own individual values, and those values, like you just mentioned, are very much a result of how we were raised, our experiences, how we've been shaped as a person. And when you can really tap into people's values and understand where they're coming from, then you can then move from, okay, here's the situation, to how can I connect with you and your values so that we are, really moving forward together and really understanding each other. And that's very customized per person. So it takes some work, but it's when you tap into that, it's really a game changer.
Right. And I think it's important that we coach individually to everybody. And I think people are like, how do I get time to coach everybody? Does it have to be like a hour session that you're coaching, or can it be like, what do you suggest when we're busy at our hotels, we're trying to kind of coach everybody, and you are making maybe notes and trying to help them out? How long does it have to be?
That's a really cool thing about coaching, is that you can have a short conversation in 10 minutes, and sometimes even less, and use a coach approach. And, so it doesn't have to take an hour. You can hone in right in on the topic and use that approach and get results.
And I always like to go to mistakes, because I make a lot of mistakes in my life and I continue doing them. That's what makes me grow. But what are some mistakes that maybe coaches thought they were doing it the right way, and it's just a mistake that they might be hurting the team or themselves? What are some mistakes that we should avoid
as coaches? Good question. I think, the biggest thing is that it's kind of a little bit counterintuitive. I think even sometimes we use the analogy of coaching often with athletics coaching. And I think there are a lot of parallels. And I love that Michael Jordan quote you posted, because really, like, that is what coaching is about. It's about helping people to reach their greatest potential beyond their own imagination and dreams. But, sometimes what as coaches, we can get in the way of ourselves, and we start to project what kind of result we want for our coachee. And that's where you can really run into trouble. And that can be a mistake as a coach. Really, as coaches, we should be going in with so much of an open mindset that that we're not predetermining the outcome of that conversation. And that really it's about them coming to a deeper, profound learning, which actually may completely be totally different than what you thought was going to come out of that conversation. And that can be difficult, especially as you talk about internal coaching versus external coaching. A lot about what we're talking about right now in hospitality is coaching within your teams, like from a manager to an employee. And what I've found is really difficult about that is that naturally, as a manager, you want to influence people. And because you already do have a vision in mind, you know what you want them to ultimately do. And that's really hard with coaching, because with coaching, we're supposed to be unattached to that outcome. So, you have to, there's a little bit of a balance there, and there's definitely a difference between internal coaching and external coaching. With external coaching, it's not about at all what the coach wants. It's what the coachee wants. With internal coaching, again, you have specific outcomes that you need to occur. You've got bottom lines, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So just, to simplify the answer, don't get in the way of yourself, and really be open to how that conversation is going to result.
Absolutely, guys. If you guys are enjoying this so far, hit the like button and comment that you are enjoying this. I think, Rachel, can we do like a role play into coaching? Because, I feel like I'm a coach and I've helped other people try to discover whatever they were topics that I'm interested in, but on property, let's do like a role play. Would anybody like that? Like, would anybody like just like a role play that we do, as far as maybe you could be, you're the coach and I'm maybe the employee. And for an example, I think we could say like, what if I'm a general manager and my ownership owns like 20 hotels or 10 hotels or 5 hotels or 1 or 3 hotels, right? And they want me as the manager there to be more active and engaged with my guests, and also maybe be more forward facing with guests, being in the lobby, being more present, being more engaging. And I'm that shy GM that wants to stay in my office and kind of just work from my computer. How do you coach somebody when like the operational person from the company saying, hey, you need to be more engaged. You need to be, you need to have more of the connection with your guests and more of the connection with your employees, because they're going to see it too. How do you do that when you're trying to coach somebody?
Sure. Well, are you ready to get started? Let's try it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hey, Rupesh, thanks for sitting down with me today. I just want to share our vision as a company. We really believe in the guest experience, and part of that is building relationships with our guests. Could we have a short dialogue about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
So we've noticed that you tend to take a step back from your guests, and don't have a lot of one-on-one FaceTime with your guests.
Yeah. It's I'm a little shy. It's scary to hear what they're going to talk or they're going to share with me, and our hotel's old, so.
Tell me more about that.
We haven't renovated in like 3-4 years, 5 years, and I see like our competition's all brand new, and I'm kind of afraid like they're gonna give me bad news every single day, and it's kind of tough. So I'm just shy, so I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me to kind of be out in the lobby talking to people and hearing bad news, because I think it's gonna make me feel bad, and I feel like then we're not doing a good job, and then some of those things.
Mm-hmm. What would you say the ways are that you do connect with your guests?
I can email them.
Mm-hmm. What are other ways?
Maybe through like our staff, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, can you take a step back and remember what was the reason that, or what is the reason now that you're in the hospitality business?
When I first took this job a few years ago or a while back now, I was passionate about, connecting or just building a team and managing a hotel. That was pretty much it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So would you like to talk maybe about a second about your being shy or the your feelings about the quality of the hotel?
I've always been shy all my life, so it's just something I was kind of raised with. My family wasn't outgoing or anything, so it's just I've always been shy. But I'm open to talk about the hotel too.
Sure. So, what's the way that you have overcome being shy before?
Well, I'm not shy around my friends, so I think I'm just shy in front of like our guests and people that I don't know.
Yeah. If you could take away that maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but is there some kind of fear behind that?
I think it's just a fear of them judging me and, say my hotel sucks pretty much,
Yeah. And if you could take away that fear, what would that look like?
Probably be a little bit happier because I can be more confident in myself and maybe be a better manager here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we could stop it there, but we see the difference, and I was projecting how I felt a long time ago and how I've talked to my GMs in the past and other people that I talk to on a basis, and that's how it feels like when you're talking to them, right?
Yeah.
And they might be a little shy. They might be, I felt those. That's why I'm trying to project exactly what I felt. So,
Yeah.
And is that what coaching is about? Kind of asking a lot of questions and getting that feedback and then figuring out, because is coaching about feelings too?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to answer your first part of the question, it's not just about asking questions. It's really also about listening. And really trying to listen to like, what's the source of this particular issue?
Mm-hmm.
So, what I was hearing was that there is a deeper issue or challenge behind the action that's not, the thing that's not happening, which is connecting with the guest. So in that conversation, what we're trying to do is come really to the source of the issue and to see if we can dig a little bit deeper into that and help the coachee stretch beyond kind of what their frame of mind is about that and how they might be able to imagine themselves stepping out of that space and moving them forward to do something different. So I have to say that, like, it's really challenging to do it on the spot. But,
I know people are guys, stop making fun of me. It says, I love the role playing. Yeah, I know you guys are making fun of me. Yeah, but role playing it works in the hotel business because, you talk to so many guests and these new staff members, these associates that have never maybe engaged with them because they didn't have that forward-facing position before. It's always great to role play because role playing over the phone, role playing face to face makes them feel more confident and gets them the confidence that they need to really look somebody in the eye and talk to them instead of just looking down at the piece of paper and trying to get their work done.
Yeah.
I think role play is just like another thing that. And do you do role play a lot as far as being a coach?
I think it's one tool, what's one strategy that you can use to kind of put yourself in, also change your perspective, put yourself in someone else's shoes, because it's really interesting what happens when we take on the persona of somebody else. Your mind works in funny ways, and it starts to learn from that experience for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now talking about the future, and if you're a leader and you want to, or you're somebody at the hotel and you want to become a leader at your hotel, which hopefully all of you are, because you don't need a title to become a leader, right? You can lead people from the side. Like, I forgot that book where it was like you could lead from the side and it's okay, right? What does the future look like for leaders when we're talking about coaching?
Ooh, that's a big
question. Or maybe go back to say, hey, back 30 years ago, 20 years ago, this is how leaders were, and this is how they coached, and now it's changed for the future. Because I know the future looks bright for our industry, right? I'm excited about that. But then also the way we coach, train, all of these things, our teams makes a difference too, as far as us growing.
Yeah. I mean, the kind of, as I was developing in my career, I had this picture of a leader as someone who stands in front and, gives out a lot of directives and tells people what to do. And I think that model, I mean, it already has changed so much, and I think it's continuing to change. So the leader of the future is really someone who a little bit leads from behind and really tries to empower the people that they work with and allow them to make decisions, and to really move your organization forward. And really, you're just providing them, you're providing them with that support and guidance to really improve for everybody.
Right. There's a question, and I can't find it now, but what are some good books on leadership and maybe coaching? Do you have any that you could recommend? And I'm just throwing this off the top of my head.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I am an avid reader. So
look at the books behind her, guys.
Yeah.
And this is at your hotel.
I haven't read all those. That's our hotel library. But one I just finished reading is Start With Why from Simon Sinek. I also really recommend Drive from Daniel Pink. That's a really a very interesting one to understand what motivates people. So, those are some of my top ones at the moment.
Right. And you talked about Salt and Pepper Shaker. What book was that?
Oh, right. Danny Meyer's Setting the Table. Very hospitality relevant and great insights into leading hospitality businesses.
Right. And does anybody listening have a book that they recommend that we all read? Because I think this is a group effort where we kind of share helping each other. Is there a book that you can comment and let us know? All right. So this has been amazing. Like, I wrote down a bunch of things that kind of help. And, for me, I think the best thing I learned was like the coaching, because I always combined everything together: mentoring, coaching, training, consulting. I kind of combine them all together. But I see the difference now when you separate everything and when you're focused on different things. And we talked about this yesterday as we were trying to plan for the show. Is one thing I'm trying to improve myself is the listening that you do when you're a coach, when you're a leader. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, that's huge. And it's not just listening. There's books just about listening. I don't have one off the top of my head right now, but listening is a skill that takes a lot of work, and I am still very much in the process of learning more and using that skill. But there's so many things. It's not just about hearing things. It's about, are you understanding? Are you engaged with your whole being when you're talking to someone? It's also it's not just about the words that people say, but what is underlying those words? We talked earlier, I talked about values. What are the values that you're hearing come out of that conversation? What are the experiences that they bring to the table? The things that you have to read between the lines beyond those words. And really the most important thing is about presence. Are you there in the moment? If your mind is somewhere else and you're already thinking about that to-do list that you have to do when you get out of that conversation, you're in big trouble, because that's not going to be a good conversation.
Right. So how do you stay focused in that meeting that you have with that one-on-one time that you kind of carved out for that person? How do you stay focused and listen and know that they know that you're paying attention?
Yeah, I think the first is get rid of the distractions, turn off your phone, make sure that your other staff know that you're in a meeting, turn off the ringer. Another big one is before you have the conversation, especially if it's a particularly difficult conversation, is to take a moment and before your conversation, do a 2-minute, at least, even just 2 minutes, meditation, or a breathing exercise. Close your eyes, clear your mind, so that when you're going into that conversation, you are there.
Yeah. And I think you see those commercials, calm, and then now stay quiet for 30 seconds. Is that what you mean? Like, if you don't want to meditate and maybe think about that, but just staying calm and kind of focused?
And breathing, just breathing, just focusing on your breath, taking some quiet, just a couple of quiet moments. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, this has been amazing. I know a lot of people have commented, and there's a lot of questions here that weekend, and a lot of people are sharing their favorite books on leadership and coaching and some of those things. So I will definitely get to all of those. And Rachel, I know we couldn't get to all the comments and the questions, but if you could please go back and help us answer some of these. I know a lot of people have questions, and I see most of these people that are on, wonderful people that are on, their GMs or the leaders at their hotel or striving to become that leader. Thank you so much. Let's pick the winner, the person that's going to get the $900 value in coaching. And it's going to be, can you just tell us a little bit about this coaching session that they're going to win? And guys, you still have an opportunity to comment if you love this episode, and comment. And please thank Rachel for being here and sharing these insights with us.
Awesome. Yeah. So this coaching package is 3 one-hour sessions with me. And we will schedule those in, and we will use that opportunity to talk about and move you forward on any issue that is present and relevant for you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to choosing a winner.
Well, listen, I've been reading the comments here as I'm producing the show and listening to you too. So I'm trying to stay focused, and I've been reading the comments, and guys, amazing comments today. Thank you so much to all the wonderful people that are sharing these awesome books and just really keeping us all going, because that's what we need right now. Just that community, that sense that we all have each other to lean on when things are maybe it's not perfect at your home. Maybe it's not perfect at your hotel. And this is what I love. I love connecting all of us together, and it's a great feeling. And so this week's winner, as we continue reading the comments, I've loved it. Guys, please give a shout out to Jessica Chamberlain. She's been on this entire episode, just commenting and sharing and being very engaging. Guys, please comment, and congratulations, Jessica. You won a coaching package with Rachel Vandenberg and her let me bring up where her company is, and it's peakinspiringtransformations.com. Where, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. Where else can people find you?
Well, that's the best place to find me for coaching, but you can also find me on LinkedIn. So please check out my profile. And hey, if you're ever in Vermont, when you're feeling safe to travel, and we would love to have you come visit us at the Sun and Ski Inn and Suites.
Absolutely. And I, before the show, I was like, Jessica, that's your living room at your hotel. They have a living room with a fireplace and all that. So I said, turn it around. And she showed us there's snow on the ground right now, which is amazing. And, now it feels like the holidays when you have snow, and we're a week away from Thanksgiving. So I'm excited about this. Jessica, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Rupesh. It was a pleasure.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome, guys. This was amazing. I now understand the difference between coaching, training, mentoring, consulting. I always thought it was one thing. So I'm so happy that Rachel could help us and kind of share these different insights. You know, as leaders, we are coaching our teams. We're helping them improve. We're helping them grow. But guess what? It's also helping us grow, because you get to understand different people and different ways that they are approaching work or their life or the combination of the two. And I thank you for being on the show again this week. And thank you so much to Jessica and all of you wonderful people for tuning in. Please do me a huge favor. Hit the like button right now. Then comment that you did enjoy it. And then please share this with your entire team, because, you know, like we said earlier, it's not just one person. It's just you and I that can become leaders and become a coach. But guess what? Your entire staff can too become leaders. And that shows that we're all in it together. That shows that we all want to grow and help each other out. And that's what hospitality is about. It's not just about yourself. It's about a feeling. And I posted that yesterday. It's about a feeling, right? And that feeling can happen in different ways, especially through coaching and helping others out. Guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and stay well. I'll talk to you next week. And by the way, this episode can be replayed right here on LinkedIn or on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rupesh Live. If you go there, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's stay connected there too. If you comment there, I will send you a personalized message to thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next week.